I'm Sadie, I'm 18, I've just finished college and I was doing photography, politics and psychology, and I'm not going to uni. I'm gonna get a job and get some experience in youth work and community work. Yeah. So I've struggled with like anxious thoughts for a long time, like since school. I would just overthink things to the point where I couldn't deal with anything because like I was unable to actually sort anything out because I was too busy trying to make sense of it in my head before I did anything, and it just incapacitated me. Like, it was awful, and I just had this overwhelming sense of like things are gonna go bad, things are going wrong, like because everything was getting neglected because I was too busy being inside my own brain. And I just felt as though I think I always have thought that like struggling with your mental illness sometimes makes people really self-centered, which is not their fault necessarily, but you're so in your own brain all the time that you forget how you're affecting other people because you're too concerned with trying to like figure things out. And so I was just hurting people around me without realising that I was, and that was making me feel so much worse. And I just felt like there was no way for me to fix it. That was the way I was, and there was nothing I could do about it, and the only thing that I could do was just stop it all. Last year I was going through a lot of stuff. I was finding college really stressful, I was finding friendships really stressful, a relationship really stressful, and I became very overwhelmed and started to become depressed, couldn't leave my room, didn't want to, isolated myself. Over Christmas, it just made me feel more on my own. To be around people that love me and that I love, and just to still feel like none of them understood, it made me feel so much worse. So just after Christmas, I made an attempt on my own life. It was unsuccessful, obviously. The photos that I was taking were for the exam component of my A-level, and the theme that I chose was stops and stations. So it started off being about like a literal journey, like people on the train, the way people interact with each other in a public space. And then I realised that I wasn't taking as many photos of that because it made me uncomfortable, because I like being on public transport, because I like that time to be on my own and like be in my own space. So then I decided to take it more down the way of being about a personal journey, and it became about my personal journey since making an attempt on my own life around Christmas, and every month since then, and working on appreciating what's around me, appreciating my friends, being able to talk about things. It's about the journey of life rather than looking at things as like sequences of like, this was a bad part of my life, that was a good part of my life. It's not, it's just always moving. It's got to be day by day or month by month. Life isn't in like, it's all over the place. Your memories are all over the place, and it helped me to make sense of the timeline of me getting better without it being so rigid in like, this is your path to, do you know what I mean? Recovery is never straight line. It's all over, and it was helpful to me to express that through my photography work. So where I'm at now, I'm just trying to find a job since I'm not going to uni, and it's really difficult. The area that we live in, it is not easy to find a job if you're unqualified. It's hard to find a job if you are qualified, never mind straight out of college. I'm trying to do some of my music to make a little bit of extra money, and that's another thing that really helps me sort of organise my thoughts is to put it into music. But it's not a reliable source of income, and it's so hard to turn that into something that is going to make money, especially where we live. There is just not enough support. It's really hard to be successful and actually reach your goals at this age without moving away. There's just not the opportunity here that there is other places, and I don't want to move away. Is this how it feels? I can breathe, know what I need, and I still bleed. Knowing it's real, is this how it feels?